Today I will attempt to persuade you to support equal pay for women in the workplace. Women and men work in the same positions and perform the same jobs, and yet there has been a difference in wages for some time. Females seem to come up short most of the time. Women account for 48% of the workplace, but being just barely shy of an even half does not give men the right to have a higher paying wage. A man and woman can both hold the same position and do the same work, but the man would still end up making more than the woman. This is not just and very unfair. Women first achieved the main right of men in 1920 when the 19th Amendment was passed. This allowed women the right to vote alongside all men as equals. In 1923, at the Seneca Falls Convention, an idea for a new amendment called the Lucretia Mott Amendment was introduced. It said that men and women shall have equal rights throughout the United States and every place subject to its jurisdiction. This idea did not take off at first, but had to be rewritten and revised. It was reintroduced and passed through the House and Senate in 1972. It took the name of the 27th Amendment and began the ratification process. It had to get at least 38 states to pass it to become official. This had to be done in 7 years. The deadline, however, was extended, but the ERA supporters did not reach the ratification numbers before the new deadline in 1982. The Equal Rights Amendment was brought back into Congress again later in 1982 as 2 new separate bills with no deadline for ratification. These bills still have not obtained enough ratification from the states to be passed. Women are fully able to stay on the same level as men pertaining to the work performance. Women can do all of this while supporting a household. Data shows that 41% of working women are also the sole providers of their households. They could be single, divorced, separated, or even widowed. Also, 28% have dependent children. 58% of mothers with children under the age of 2 work. 62% of mothers with children under the age of 6 work, and 70% of mothers with children under the age of 18 also work. Even though some of these women have young children, they could have not been allowed time off after giving birth. Only 53% of employers provide at least some replacement pay during periods of maternity leave, a time when the woman needs their paycheck the most. In 1994, 57 million women were employed. 41 million worked full-time, and 16 million worked part-time jobs. 3.3 million women held more than one part-time job to make ends meet. Out of all the part-time workers in the U.S., 2/3 were women attempting to provide enough for their families. The wage gap between certain jobs tend to vary. Some jobs are equal, which is great, but many of them are not. In 2009, the median weekly earnings for full-time working women were 80% of what men made. Basically, this means that those women made 80 cents to every man's dollar. Full-time employed women, on average, earn less than their male counterparts in 104 of 108 occupations that the Bureau of Labor Statistics, or BSL, provides. This organization displays earning data for both male and female workers. This suggests that the gender wage gap is almost worldwide in the labor market, regardless of where the women work. As well, female-dominated jobs have been shown to pay less than male-dominated jobs at the same skill levels. This is shown a lot more in higher-paying jobs. With everything I've stated this evening, this problem needs to be paid more attention to. There is no reason for the unevenness of wages between men and women in the workplace. If they're both doing the same amount and types of work, then the pay should be the same. That just makes sense. The unequal earnings for women are a form of sexual discrimination and should not be allowed or tolerated in the United States of America. Thank you.